Alright, having a fun time, fixing clusters, drinking tea with some treats and waiting for our Mercedes to be on auction. Looking to purchase this one as a project, and we'll see how it's gonna go, if we'll get it in a couple moments.
Sold.
Okay, let's check it out.
Bidder. This is a hot lot.
Come on. Oh my god. Oh my god, motherfuckers.
Bonus time.
No, probably we didn't bid, we didn't win because I placed 1100 on it.
Sold. New bidder.
Unfortunately. Okay, that's an unexpected continue of the video, and as you can see, I am sitting in a Home Depot truck with the car trailer somewhere there in the back, which means it actually was our bid for 1150, and I am picking this Mercedes right now from Copart. That's our baby. All right, let's take a look on it. It's time to go home. Alright, and here she is, new to me, but old, 14 years old, old granny with 90,000 miles on it, and I bought it from Copart like for around 1,600 bucks, including all the fees, and I spent a couple $100 for the trailer and truck from Home Depot to get it here, and it came with a salvage flat title or flat salvage title, whatever you want to call it. I inspected. I did not find any evidence that it was kind of sailing in a river, but instead what I found was blocked drainage holes. So one's supposed to be somewhere here, the other supposed to be somewhere here, so the water wasn't properly draining, and I guess it went, you know, outside somehow that way, and it flooded the compartment below the battery. Everything was here with the water, because this drain hole as well was blocked with the, you know, leaves and debris, like, and whatever. So I had to remove the battery and clean the drainage hole. The other stories on the left hand side, where engine computer ECU is located, right in here, and the front SAM module is located right here, and actually the ECM engine module was flooded up to that line, as you can see, and I'm gonna include a couple pictures of the damage the water did in this area. So this issue is no longer good. The problem here is that the drainage hole is underneath this equipment box, which is the pain to remove. It's been held by 4 bolts, 1, 2, and like 2 in the bottom. 3, 4, and the bolts are located actually inside the cabin. So you're gonna need to disassemble this whole area to get the access to those bolts, so you can see the light actually coming through. And the problem is that all those wires are coming through the hole in this kind of tray or equipment box, so I cannot remove it to get the access to the drain hole. So what we did is we removed the wheel and we found this rubber grommet, I guess. So we cleaned it, actually I removed it completely. We flushed all this like little bay to make sure there is no debris left, and hopefully it's gonna help us to solve the flat problem with that car. And the new, actually I bought used ECM off eBay. It should be delivered tomorrow, and it's gonna be another story how we can clone the old computer into the new one, because as you know, the car won't start if the new computer gonna be simple plug and play. I mean simple plugged in. It needs to be coded or programmed for that car. I'll keep you posted. The battery was dead at the moment I picked up the car, but I put it on a kind of maintainer, and by a couple of days it charged the battery, so hopefully it's gonna make like another year or two. What else? This shifting assembly been yanked out, I guess because they couldn't put it in neutral. The car is pretty clean. The rope, the top probably is leaking, and it could benefit with replacing. The convertible portion right now does not work. Probably the issue could be in the low hydraulic fluid in the pump. So we'll see if the pump is leaking, because I did order the fluid, so I'm gonna top it off just to see if it's gonna start to work again, but it's gonna be later. First of all, we'll figure out if the motor is running or not after we're gonna install the new to this car ECM, and hopefully we're gonna find a proper way to connect all those connectors in the front SAM module. As you can see, it's quite a lot of connections and fuses here. The coolant tank was empty when I got the car. I don't know if there is damage in the hoses or in the radiator, or maybe the head gasket is blown. So we're gonna find out if we're gonna start the car. I put some water in the system. So far it's staying there, but again we'll see after we're gonna turn on the car. The overall visual condition is pretty good for its age. There are not significant dings. There are a couple scratches like this one. Probably could be buffed just partially. It won't go away, but I mean we can make it a little more prettier, and that's it pretty much. I'll keep you posted, guys. Alright, I just received the replacement ECU or ECM, engine computer module, for this Mercedes, and this one is the old one with like all this crap on the circuit board. I'm not sure if you can see it, if it's focused or not, but we're gonna be focusing on this little chip in here. This particular one contains the data about the VIN number, keys, immobilizer, thing. So obviously, if I'm gonna install this module without any reprogramming, it won't start. I mean, I probably won't even be able to turn the keys. So we're gonna need to transfer or copy the memory from this one into that one to make it a clone of this one. For those guys who is doing some chip tuning, if I'm not mistaken, this is the chip where you load the fuel maps and all this chip tuning crap. So for that one, you're gonna need different kind of programmer. So you're gonna need to read the information from this chip, update it with the values you need to, and then you're gonna upload it back to that chip. But for the car to start, this is the one what you're gonna be worried about. So I'm gonna try to read this chip, because I'm not really worried about this one because it doesn't have any information from my car. So I'll be able to use it as the guinea pig, just to read it. I mean, probably I'm simply gonna desolder this chip and put it here, but maybe I'm gonna simply copy the information from this chip and write it to that chip. We'll see. I'm gonna show you how it goes. So let's desolder it from here. Okay, yeah, it's been good. 2 points. That's why it's not so easy to take it off. But let's try to cool it down first and to read it without being soldered on the circuit board. Alright, and now we're gonna desolder the chip from our car. I'm gonna need to make sure it's been done carefully, otherwise it's gonna be a big pile of paperweight. And let's cool it down. Okay, now I'm gonna try to read the information from that chip. Check into the chip reader. Okay, looks like I was able to copy the memory. So this is series number 2 of video shooting because I was dumb and I did not press the record button the first time, so I'm not as excited. I'm not sounds as excited as the first time, but the fix for the computer or replacement computer actually worked out. And there is the good and bad news. So you can see the cluster reads the proper mileage. The key turns, which means the immobilizer recognizes the key, and we can start the engine. It's working and no lights there, but I'm gonna shut it off right away, because as soon as I started the engine I found another problem that actually, what I think led to the failure of the original computer. There was the coolant line coming underneath this plastic thing, whatever it is, and it's bursted. So all the coolant comes right into this bay area, and because the drainage was clogged, this thing actually was flooded by coolant. And as you can see, I filled the coolant tank till the top, and I ran the engine maybe for a minute, and it's almost empty right now. So I'm gonna remove this plastic thing, and I'm gonna see what kind of tube or pipe is it, just to get the replacement one. I just undid those two wipers. The passenger has been held by 2 bolts, driver by 1 bolt. If you got trouble, removing this linkage from the shaft, just use some penetrant like WD-40. I soaked mine like for a couple of minutes and it came off, pretty easy. I just removed this top plastic part, and it's been held by 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you need to disconnect the drainages here, and 2 on the sides, or actually 1 on the side. There is no drainage on the left hand side, so drainage here, and drainage here, and 4 bolts. Now I'm gonna need to remove the Viper motor assembly thing, and there is the culprit. As I can see from here, I guess it's like a Y plastic splitter, not the actual pipe, but Y plastic splitter, which is being broken. So yeah, the motor assembly looks like being held by 1 big screw or bolt, the second one in here, and most likely this is the third one, but I'm gonna check it out in a moment. Most likely just those three bolts. I just removed those 3 bolts holding this assembly in place, and the wiring you may or may not need to disconnect if you would like to take it out completely. Is this connector that goes right into the front SAM module. So now it's been disconnected, and we can put it on the side. And let's take a look closer on our culprit. There we go. You can see this hole, and there are a lot of like a copper flakes around here, which I googled for, and most likely the previous owner knew he got the coolant leak, and he tried to use this additive or whatever you want to call it, like a sealant, which obviously didn't work. It doesn't work on the holes like that. Probably the sealant may help you to temporarily fix like a little crack by clogging the crack with those like little particles, but obviously not the hole like that. So I'm gonna need to disconnect this Y connector, so it connects this little pipe, bigger pipe, and the pipe that goes right from that engine bay on this side. So I just got this Y fitting removed, and as you can see, there is like a giant hole in here, so like a chunk of plastic just probably flew away somewhere, and that's what the whole problem is. So probably I'm gonna either get it on eBay or by the dealer, whatever is gonna be faster. Okay, a little follow-up about this Mercedes. Like you saw before, we did remove the carpet. The left side of this bay was flooded with the engine coolant, which got here because the drainage hole was blocked in there, and because this part, which that's the second part from the junkyard, you saw the hole in here on the original part, so it flooded through from here up to, you know, this block drainage hole, and through a hole where the wiring harness goes, so it flooded this area. And I found another puddle of hydraulic fluid on that side, and I assume it came from the top, the hydraulic, you know, system for the top. I did refill the hydraulic fluid tank by the motor, and I did open and close the roof few times, and I didn't find any leaks in the system. So I assume the previous owner at one point did replace the leaky cylinder, but he did never get to this puddle of hydraulic fluid which went under the carpet. So the top works now, and I just purchased this part from Mercedes. It's original part. If I'll find this back, I'll let you know what the part number is. I guess, yeah, this is the one. And you cannot purchase just a separate plastic coupling. It comes with this little pipe. I'm gonna remove this pipe, but because I don't want to replace the pipe. And that's it pretty much.